YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here with Watcher of Realms. We're back with another one for VOD review. Now, we are going against Military Alliance. We have gone against them one separate time before this, and typically whenever we go against them, it's a relatively easy win. Unfortunately, they just get matched up with us whenever we end up losing against a guild that's in like the top 5 or top 10. So, unlucky, but we got some attacks to go through, so let's go straight to it. The first one is going to be against a Piercer team. Now, this is a keep, and it is missing some of the major components that you'd want for a Piercer team. Specifically, you want Lady Alexandria, let's just be honest. Now, with this team, whenever you go ahead and place Eye here, it is going to be subject to being hit by archers, and he does get some really bad RNG in terms of Eye, because she's going to stack the crystals on the exact same couple of spots. She even goes ahead and drops it over here next, I believe. If I remember the... Yep, there we go. So it's a little bit unlucky in terms of the overall placements. If it was perfect, she would have gone ahead and stacked up a crystal here. But truth be told, it doesn't make any difference because she's going to die either way. Once the Yovar goes ahead and ults, we see that he is in Idril's Gaze. So obviously, he's going to ignore some defense whenever he's hitting. We're not really too concerned, right? Especially with a comp like this, the main deterrent is Silas needs to go ahead and chunk out. And if our Maw here is able to just deal with it, which he should, because he's a level 2 affiliated to 112 Lord, we're good to go, honestly. There's no chance of it dying. So once the Fool connects, he's going to go ahead and give the shield. And watch this. I want you to pay attention to Silas. Silas is no longer hitting. None of these units are hitting when Maw is doing the Impale. Whenever he does the Impale, he's essentially invulnerable. He can't be hit. So that's one thing that you can utilize to your benefit. Maw goes ahead and does the AoE hit, knocks out the Silas. And from this point on, it's really just a simple win. Maw's going to get staggered on the Eye Crystal, which is such an interesting interaction whenever you see it. But the Fool is going to go get the shield, and these double lightning guards are given the full clearance to just snipe out these units here, and the dogs run through. Super easy run overall. It is a little bit of a BP check, because if the Maw dies, then you're in a really bad position, because you're going to run to a firing squad of both Yovar and Silas just dealing with you, and then Hex also gives you some additional trouble, but as long as you have the tankiness from the Maw, you're pretty much good to go. Now, the next one is going to be against this really annoying Ingrid and Pradus team. When it comes to the towers right now, Ingrid and Pradus is not that dominant. And even though they are flexing an Ardea in this particular team, there's a lot of components that are missing in terms of making it a really relevant team. So the first thing that we're going to go do is we have these Shadow Keepers, dogs, Pharaoh Guards, healers, and the Fool. So what we do here is we're going to go ahead and drop the Pharaoh Guard and then the Fool. Reason being is because this is pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, a double magic damage comp. I know Ardea is here, but I'm not really too concerned about her taking out the entire team. It's not likely, especially with the Fool. She doesn't necessarily do enough damage consistently to deal with the shield. Also, these are level 5 Pharaoh Guards, so they're kind of tanky in their own right. We drop the second Pharaoh Guard here. We're going to go stack up the block now, right? So once we do this, we drop the healer. And the reason why we drop the healer is because we don't know how much damage Pradus is going to particularly do. So if we have a healer here, we can potentially save this Pharaoh Guard and maintain that 2-block advantage that we're really banking on. So the Fool's job is just to go ahead and keep this Pharaoh Guard alive long enough for the healer to go ahead and stack up and get that sustain. And there we go. He is barely alive. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, but it gives you a really good idea, because Pradus is still hitting that target. He's not able to chunk out this Pharaoh Guard. So we look really good. The next step is we're dropping these double Shadow Keepers. Mind you, these are level 5, so they have the potential to dodge hits. Now, what's happening is we have 1 block with the Pharaoh Guard, and then we're going to have 4 more here. So we're going to have a total of 5 block just stacked up on this unit. And now we can drop the dogs. So they're going to go ahead and dodge. You see that miss? They're essentially tanking. And here we go. The dogs kind of run through here. And it's a GG. Because these not Pharaoh Guards, these Shadow Keepers tanked it. That's how we're able to win. It's a little bit of an interesting strategy, which only is guaranteed if you are using those Shadow Keepers because they get that dodge. But if you have it, utilize it, right? The next one is against a Anora side. This is honestly just like a normal Esoteric team. Now, when you go against these teams, it's a little bit tricky because it all depends on how strong is Anora and how strong is the Yimmer. If they're just raid boss level, they just knock out everything, then yeah, you lose. But if you have enough tankiness, you're able to survive and kind of run through. So they are also running a Constance, so I know that even though this team is developed, Anora is not going to benefit from the Constance ultimate. It's mainly going to be Yimmer. So truth be told, Constance here is a little bit of a troll move. It's not going to help that much. I would even prefer like a Magda, for example, just to go ahead and knock the units back just in case something awry happens. So what we do is pretty much the exact same thing. We're dropping the Pharaoh Guard, we're dropping the Fool. But we are doing something that's a little bit interesting and different. I know one of my guildmates attacked this and he got a little bit unlucky, but I made a variation based off of what he did. So what we do is we go ahead and stack up the tanks and then we drop the healer. One thing that's really important to know whenever you're going against these Anora Yimmer teams, especially with this map, essentially you want to bait out the second ultimate for Anora and Yimmer because they usually line up very, very closely together based off this map position when they're here. Importantly is when they're here, that's where you get the ability to kind of bait out this second ult. So what we do is we drop a healer instead of stacking up the rest of the units, because my goal here is I know these two units are pretty much always going to sync up by the second ult. And so if we have enough sustain to deal with that, Anora is going to go ahead and ult. Yimmer is going to go ahead and ult. This healer here, entire job, just keep these units alive. Because I'm never worried about my Pharaoh Guards dying as long as I have enough heals. So we go ahead and drop the double Shadow Keepers. What's happening is Cyrus now is in a position where these Shadow Keepers are going to knock out his skeletons, and we already have 2 Pharaoh Guards here just tanking up the block. So there's 2 block remaining, 4 units coming through. That means we have the ability to drop the dogs here. And we should easily start to run through here and put the pressure on the Constance. And once we do that, we pretty much insta-win here. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Easy win. Now, the only issue is if Anora goes ahead and gets her ultimate, then we're in a little bit of a tricky, precarious situation. But because we go ahead and we stagger it and we wait for that second ult, that's how we go ahead and get that interval to go ahead and win. It's really just a game of timings. Now with this one, this is an Ingrid Pradus team. I actually went ahead and chowed a similar team to this against Sin, and it's annoying. It's very annoying to go against. But once again, with this Valkyria, she is in her exclusive artifact, which is not the best option. An Eye of Sin would have been better, honestly speaking. And then they are using a hollow, which is not ideal. If you're using a hollow, I get it. You're trying to go ahead and cover all of the heals here and give enough rage regen for Pradus to go ahead and ult and take out the units. But truth be told, using a Lily would be better. You go ahead and give yourself some additional tankiness on the Brokir, some really good heals. You don't really need to worry about Ingrid dying too much, right? But they go ahead and elect to use the hollow. So we essentially just drop the Fool and the Pharaoh Guard. The Pharaoh Guard is going to tank the Ingrid. He also swaps Ingrid's targeting to that single target mode, which is perfect for us because what we do is we have the Pharaoh Guard is tanking. Ingrid is going to stay in this single target mode up until right about now. She's going to start switching, and there we go. And the Fool here is giving those shields, and all of these units are able to start passing through. And because it's a Valkyria with a hollow, there is no revive. And because of that, we're able to just run through here really easily. If Valkyria was still here, she would probably still die due to the Shadow Warrior. Or not Shadow Warrior, but the Shadow Keeper. But that's the whole interaction, right? The team works way better with a Lily. They didn't use a Lily, so we take advantage of that opportunity. The final one is against a chaotic team, which is relevant nowadays. Honestly, this was just me trying to go ahead and ego chow. I'll just refer to this as an ego chow. I go ahead and do a Moss strategy with axes. My whole goal is just kill the Gon. If I can kill the Gon, it's a win. Like a very, very easy win. But what happens? Not that. I basically do everything and Gon, and you can watch it, right? Gon basically infinity tanks me because of Carnelian, and it's just not a good time. So I'm just gonna let this run. Essentially, I'm dropping the tank with the Fool. Whole job is just survive, right? And I'm not really too concerned about him dying at all, especially because I'm going to drop the healer and the axes. So the goal is these axes should go ahead and take care of Gon, right? So they do a pretty good job. He gets super low. He's tanking. He's surviving. Now we have the Maw here. At this point, we're a little bit unlucky. We go ahead and force Gon, but nothing else happens, right? We basically just get juggled forever in this little blender here. And our Dia's ulting. Everyone's dying. It's just not the best of options. Now, if I were smarter... Well, not smarter. I just wanted to ego chow, if I'm being honest. If I did this correctly, what I would have done is drop double epic tanks, then drop double rares, then double dogs. Super simple. I could even do epic tank Fool, epic tank healer, rare tank, double dogs. GG. Like, insta win, right? But I go ahead and try to hard chow it, and I lose. Anyways, don't do what I did. Just do better. That's all there is. See ya.